Good morning and welcome to this edition of Real Estate Today on Splash FM 105.5 here in the city of Ibadan. As usual, on Real Estate Today, we bring you information on real estate, property, land and housing, letting and sales, as well as the legal aspects of buying and selling of property, including rights issues between tenants and landlords, among other things. I am Michael Olatunbosun. Good morning once again and welcome. The year 2020 has been described as the year of unprecedented shifts and shocks. The COVID-19 pandemic effects were clearly seen and felt in the economy and real estate markets the world over. Crude oil prices plummeted and employment numbers weakened. Despite the poor performance of the real estate sector last year, occasioned by the negative impact of the coronavirus pandemic, operators are optimistic that there could be an early rebound in 2021 if government and other stakeholders live up to their obligations. It is expected that the real estate sector will recover in the first quarter. This optimism stems from better understanding of the COVID-19 virus, the prospects of an effective vaccine, and as we've seen across the world where, pharmaceutical companies and scientists are making frantic efforts to rescue humanity, as well as the positive moves by the Central Bank of Nigeria in foreign exchange regulation. The recent World Bank report of possible 1.1% growth in the nation's economy and a slight increase in the oil price. There's also optimism that prices of basic construction materials like cement and a few others that spiraled out of the reach of most people, especially in quarter 4 of 2020, will return to what they were in quarter 1 and quarter 2. You're still listening to Real Estate Today on Splash FM 105.5 Ibadan. According to the North Court's 2021 Nigerian Real Estate Market Outlook, the demand for last-mile industrial real estate is expected to grow as a result of the growth in online, retail, logistics and pharma, as well as health, care, neighborhood, retail, and residential developments are posting respectable results, encouraged by the schisms in the global supply chain and added motivations to look local first. In a nutshell, the demand for residential real estate is expected to increase, and gated communities will see more demand, especially for 3 and 4 beds. For 4 bedrooms flats and 3 bedrooms flats. Mixed-use projects with well-planned residential components are projected to deliver above-average results. Industrial real estate is projected to also grow based on sustained online retail and last-mile delivery considerations. This is expected to drive infrastructure development. Hospitality's growth will depend on the release of a vaccine for Nigeria and the degree of innovation as pivoting to allied services. Land is expected to be the big winner, to remain a resilient store of value and continue to attract investment. So you understand that the COVID-19 vaccine has already exposed us to a new way of doing all things. As a matter of fact, in the last 1 year, when lockdowns were announced all over the world, particularly in this part of the world, a lot of people stayed at home. And therefore, a lot of people did their work from home. Those who used to think that you needed a big house or a big shop, had to go back home and start doing businesses from their homes. So there is this topsy-turvy kind of thing in that sector. Of course, according to Tayo Odunsi, the CEO of North Court Real Estate, the real estate sector is expected to be buoyed by the impact of foreign exchange regulation. And here he also makes projection as to the likely direction of the sector. I'd like you to listen here to Tayo Odunsi, the CEO of North Court Real Estate. Here.
Residential remains the largest group, and though it dipped a little from 37% to 34%, what we find is that that's the case globally. When you come down to Nigeria, what we'll find is that residential was actually the biggest winner. A lot of people are now working from home. People are carrying out multiple activities from home. Hospitality uses office, what they would ordinarily have done in the office previously. Everything is taking place from home now. And what we saw in 2020 was a lot of relocations, people relocating into bigger homes, realizing that now they need an office, they need an home office, or they need more space, just recreate while they are in the home. So yes, residential and industrial were the two biggest winners, but residential will come tops in the Nigerian context. Of course, we all know that there were significant exchange rate pressures last year, and it's continued into this new year. This essentially has different effects on both the supply and demand sides of real estate. So on the supply side, the inputs to bringing up housing and every for real estate, would typically be put at about 50% foreign products. That typically was higher previously, but what we found is that a lot of improvements have been made in the manufacturing sector to support the real estate market in terms of locally producing some things. So that has moved to just about 50%. And of course, it makes delivery of real estate much more expensive. But before you think that immediately infers higher cost of producing houses, what we find is that developers begin to become much more creative in ways to deliver their homes or any form of real estate at similar prices without letting the exchange rate pressures push them to increase the price per unit. They do this in terms of housing by making the units slightly smaller, intensifying the use of the land, just finding other ingenious ways, not going, selling carcass, for example, not going full throttle and allowing the end user, face the exchange rate pressures of finishing the home themselves. But on the flip side, when there are exchange rate pressures like this, what it means is that Nigerians in the diaspora, can invest more in the real estate market because their dollar goes infinitely further. And so what we typically see is that when there are these pressures, especially when the pressures just immediately start, what we find is that there's a lot of pent-up demand from Nigerians in diaspora because they believe assets have ordinarily become cheaper just, by sheer exchange rate movements. So in 2020, it's no prophecy that people spend most of their time at home. I recall there was a report that we did last year, after the NSAS protest, and we could see from this mobility tracking that about 90-something% of people just stayed at home. Where do we think people will be moving to? And this ties neatly to our outlook for the year. And we've pretty much taken three positions, right? And it's scenario-based. What we said is that if in 2021, Nigerian economy improves, right, there will be significant growth in the commercial real estate market. And that's quite intuitive to say because there is currently pent-up demand, essentially for retail, for hospitality, and even for people to come back to their offices and work and hug their friends as they used to. Of course, for that growth to take place, there has to be both economic surpluses and also we have to win on the pandemic fronts. So that's the first scenario. The second scenario is if things remain as they are, and essentially residential will continue to be the winner in that scenario because people will continue to stay at home, and that's where people, will do their work from, and people will just have to, go to their penthouse or something to do some form of recreation because movement is essentially limited, especially with the second wave. And the third scenario is if there's a decline. What we envisage is just looking back at the past recessions that we've had and looking at the data that we have gathered. We found that in such scenarios, land as a real estate asset class, land banking as a real estate asset sub-market essentially wins in recessionary times. It's this way because land has no repayment pressures. People typically don't buy land with debt; they buy to equity, and so they are cool enough, to say this is the kind of profits that I want on my land. And so in those kind of scenarios, land will be the winner in terms of sub-markets. We envisage that the first two scenarios hopefully are more likely, that is case of things staying as it is, and then residential being where we will all be, or in the case that, by Q2, Q3, there can be some economic wins, and then the pent-up demand that we're seeing for commercial activities in terms of retail, people going back to the office, will then be the order of the day.
All right. right, you're still listening to Real Estate Today on Splash FM 105.5 here in the city of Ibadan. Tayo Odunsi there, the CEO of Northcourt Real Estate, talking about the prospects of the real estate sector in 2021. Of course, despite the lagging of that sector in the last year, but then even the lagging is not an alarming one, and so the practitioners in the sector are preparing for a boom in that sector from this first quarter of the year 2021. Let's hope that these things kick off. Of course, I've always had my concerns about the sector, the failure of the sector. I mean, both practitioners at the private level and the government to provide safe, affordable, accessible housing for Nigerians. They have also projected that by the end of 2021, we may have graduated to 25 million housing deficits. And if you go by the fact of unbridled population and some other factors, we may just be just giving birth to people with no shelter for them. And when you look at the intermixing of the social security issues around us, you begin to ask questions about the sanctity of the sector in terms of making sure that we get what we need. It's still Real Estate Today on Splash FM 105.5, a commercial break. When I come back from this break, I'll be talking about the proposed sale of the forfeited assets in the country. Please don't go away.
Where else? It's Splash 105.5.
1960 bets don't return with big FCO as they don't arrange new management. They don't come back better and stronger. Then they pay commission to their agents' bank account and winning to their customers. Sharply. No delay. You fit do football to virtual games plus live bet jackpot for inside 1960 bets. Visit their website on top www.1960bets.com. 1960 bets. Play and win.
Excuse me. Yes, I'm talking to you. You who always wants to give your family the best things. I know you love this exciting DSTV decoder bundle offer. Instead of 18,600 naira, you can get a new DSTV HD decoder plus 1 month DSTV confirmed subscription for a lower price of 9,900 naira. Yes, you heard me right. A brand new DSTV HD decoder plus 1 month DSTV confirmed subscription for a lower price of 9,900 naira. If you've always wanted to give your family amazing entertainment, then this is your time. Offer starts from February 1st for a limited time only. Terms and conditions apply. DSTV Nigeria. It's your moment.
Bálẹ̀ ẹ ò jẹun yín látẹ̀ẹ̀kan kí ló dé? Wo Àbẹ̀kẹ́, inú mi ò dùn. Owó tí mo ná fi tún ìṣe tó tọ̀hún ṣe nínú ilé yìí ti pọ̀ jù. Ó tojú sú mi.
Daddy, washing machine máa tún ti dẹnu kọlẹ̀.
Kí la wá ṣe báyìí o? Yọra rẹ kúrò nínú ìdààmú. Má jẹ́ káwọn kọlọ̀rọ̀ sí hàn léèmọ̀. Gbéra ńlẹ̀ kó kàn sí Solat Electronics Showroom lónìí. Bó o ṣe mú fóònù tàbí electronics tó bá fẹ́ ló máa jàǹfààní ẹ̀dínwó 20%, ìdá 20% lórí flat screen TV, deep freezer, air conditioner, washing machine, gas cooker àtàwọn ohun èlò ilé ní Solat Electronics. Solat Electronics gàgàbáànù àwọn tí ń ta fóònù àti electronics ló ti rí electronics lóríṣiríṣi àtòhun èlò tó lálòpẹ́ tó fini lọ́kànbalẹ̀ lówó tí ò ga jara. Kàn sí wa ní Solat Electronics ní GLN Dùgbẹ̀, Solat Megastore Mọ́kọ́lá, Isolac Building Mọ́kọ́lá àti ní Palms Mall Ring Road pẹ̀lú ti Challenge Ìbàdàn fún èyíkéyìí ẹ̀yà ojúlówó electronics àti fóònù tó bá ń fẹ́. Má gbàgbé o, Solat Electronics yóò fún ọ lẹ́dínwó 20% lórí ohun gbogbo tó bá rà lọ́wọ́ wọn. Fún àlàyé pé 0701 684 1630. Solat Telecoms, ohun tó dára jù ló tọ́ sí ọ.
If you want big grace, nothing's gonna stop you now. As long as you recharge with Great Nigeria Insurance PLC, your greatness is now.
Area, this not be time when person go dey fear because e no package insurance o. Sure, this not no be time when person go dey lose o. We get experience reach neck for motor insurance, fire, burglary, or any one thing gbege goods wey pass maga for road and plenty things. For more tafia, bell us for 2341342961 or kukuma email us for info@greatnigerianplc.com. Great Nigeria Insurance PLC. Now who know insure the lose o?
A fully furnished, nice and comfortable hostel accommodation in University of Ibadan, or a place for seminars and executive trainings at the same venue? You do not have to worry. Adebayo Akonde Hall suits your lodging needs and provides you a home away from home. Adebayo Akonde Hall is a 4-star hostel built in a serene environment with constant supply of electricity. It has fully furnished rooms that gives you great comfort at an affordable price. Adebayo Akonde Hall is located at Ajibode Extension, University of Ibadan. To make reservations, visit www.adebayohall.com or call the numbers 0805-699-8718, 0805-699-8719, 0805-699-8720. Adebayo Akonde Hall. Built for comfort. Built for you.
Some energy drinks promise power, but are more like this. What you need is this. New Predator energy drink. Rule your kingdom. Now sells for only 200 naira.
Hey, darling, have you ported your phone number?
Yeah, I did it yesterday, and I have been enjoying the new one. Actually, I regret I didn't do it way earlier.
Well, there is a new port in town.
What is that? Wait, can I port my car to a Rolls Royce?
Wifey, no, you can't port your car, but you can switch your pension fund administrator, PFA, to ICO Pension. This is made possible because the National Pension Commission has launched the RSA transfer system, which means you can also now enjoy the quality service I am accustomed to at ICO Pension. You have to do it immediately to avoid another regret.
Nice! This is the best news ever!
Yes, dear. To port to ICO Pension today, visit www.icopension.com/switch or call 0700 ICO PFA. And in no time, you will also enjoy their excellent customer service.
Yes, so Rose and ICO forever.
You see?
Somebody's jealous. Okay, Rose and Larry together forever.
ICO Pension. Tomorrow's peace of mind starts with today's plans.
Akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ mi ọ̀wọ́n, ètò àti kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ pẹ̀lú ìgbáradì fún ìdánwò ní ìtẹ̀lẹ́lẹ́sẹsẹ ní ibùgbé rẹ̀ ti wà báyìí o. Ìlàkàkà tí yege nínú ìdánwò ti dópin. Bí o bá lè darapọ̀ mọ́ ètò àtúnṣe ẹ̀kọ́ tó yè koro lórí rédíò tó ń ran akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lọ́wọ́ láti tayọ nínú ìdánwò. Bí àwọn olùkọ́ tó mòye ṣe ń yanjú àwọn ìbéèrè ìdánwò tó ti kọjá. NECO ni o tàbí WAEC, Junior WAEC àti Common Entrance. Ẹ̀wẹ̀, darapọ̀ mọ́ ọ̀dọ́mọbìnrin Victory Yinka Banjo, akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó ṣe ìyege ńlá nínú WAEC SSC rẹ̀ ní ọdún 2020. Ó là wọ́n lọ nígbà tí ó gba 335 nínú 400 nínú JAMB UTME. Ẹ láǹfààní láti gbọ́ ìjìnlẹ̀ àṣírí àṣeyọrí Victory àti pẹ̀lú ìyanjú ìbéèrè ìdánwò tó ti kọjá fún ìwà akẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Ètò yìí máa ní ipa ńlá ìgbà bẹ́ẹ̀. Tí o bá jẹ́ òbí tí o sì ń gbọ́ wa, jọ̀wọ́ sọ fún ọmọ rẹ kó darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí Flash FM látọjọ́ Monday di Wednesday látagogo 5 sí 5 àbọ̀ ìrọ̀lẹ́, Thursday di Friday látagogo 4 àbọ̀ sí 5 ìrọ̀lẹ́, Saturday látagogo 3 sí 3 àbọ̀ ìrọ̀lẹ́ àti 4 àbọ̀ sí 5 ìrọ̀lẹ́. Ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ jùmọ̀ borí 2021.
Learn at Home is brought to you by Data Science Nigeria, partnering with the MasterCard Foundation.
Hello, Mrs. Martins.
Yes. Oh, Mrs. Johnson, how may I help you?
Junior's body temperature is high and he's complaining about headaches and body aches.
Not to worry. Get Bruston and suspension.
Okay, ma. I'll call you back.
Bruston and Suspension for Children is a sweet-tasting brand of ibuprofen which provides relief against toothache, pains, and fever in children after 30 minutes.
Hello, ma. Oh, Junior, stop that.
Is everything okay, Mrs. Johnson?
Yes, ma. Junior is fine now. In fact, Junior, sorry, ma. I'll call you back.
Brustin and Suspension for Children. Always take the product after meal. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor. A quality product from Rambaxay.
Real estate. It's real estate on Splash 105.5 FM.
All right, welcome back. It's still real estate today on Splash FM 105.5. The Interministerial Committee set up by the federal government to dispose of assets that have been finally forfeited to the federal government has said it has such assets in 25 locations across the country. Remember that President Buhari had in 2019 issued the Asset Tracing, Recovery and Management Regulations to provide legal and administrative frameworks for the investigation, tracing, seizure, and disposal of stolen or illegally acquired assets and proceeds of crime. And we know that the committee had earlier been inaugurated. Okay. And recently, the chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Disposal of Federal Government Forfeited Assets, Dayo Akpata, has disclosed that it has commenced the process of disposing the forfeited assets in 25 locations across the country. Akpata, who disclosed this recently, said that the committee had collated all forfeited assets and was updating the outcome to the federal government. Okay. While declining details of the locations, Akpata explained that the team would embark on on-site verification and auditing of the assets to confirm their existence and current state. Okay, so this is what he said. We are still receiving details and assets from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, the Nigerian Navy, and other government agencies, he said. Okay, so while this is has been commended by experts, the experts in the industry are also calling for proper valuation or evaluation, if you like, of the assets to be done for the process to be handed to professionals so as to maximize the gains of the exercise. In this audio that I'll be playing for you now, the president of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, ESV, Emmanuel Wike, commends the federal government for this move, but calls for the involvement of professionals. And I thought I should let you in on what he said. This is Emmanuel Wike, the president of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers.
As a professional body, we have always advocated for valuation of such properties before they are sold or before they are auctioned. And the essence is that in the Procurement Act, Section 56, Paragraph 1, stated it clearly that before the federal government can dispose any of its property, such properties have to be valued by an evaluator or a professional that is competent in that service. And in Nigeria, the only professional that is competent on valuation is estate surveyors and valuers. So we have advocated that, and we are happy that in recent times, the Interministerial Committee that was formed by the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation actually did that by publishing on 1st of February 2021, inviting estate surveyors and valuers to send in their proposals for valuation of forfeited property to the government. Well, before now, I'm sure that the government have actually disposed some of their properties not following the process. So we want to commend them that they want to follow the due process in doing this assignment. So we are very happy as a professional body, as estate surveyors and valuers, that we have been involved in that assignment. We should not allow our assets to be wasted. I think this assets has been wasted for several years, some more than 10 years, some more than 20 years. What it means is that the revenue that would have accrued to the owners of this property, is it government, is it individual, have been wasted, or has been lost. So I think that the government should have, if it's possible, a department headed by an estate surveyor and valuer that will actually manage some of these properties and advise the government on the best and highest use of such properties. Now, the properties that have been consented to individuals or organizations for use, the government should be able to see how they can amend some of the agreement they had with these concessionaries, so that at the end of the day, the government can benefit from it. Some of these abandoned properties can actually be handed over to professional estate surveyors and valuers or facility managers, so that at the end of the day, the government can get revenue out of it. There is no need for us to waste those properties.
All right, ESV Emmanuel Wike, the president of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, they're talking. So you get the drift now. According to Akpata, who is also a Solicitor General of the Federation and Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Justice, said his committee was expected to carry out the disposal of assets, including landed property, plants, machinery, vehicles, electronics, furniture, and equipment. Such other assets include water vessels, canoes, boats, barges, and ships, jewelry, ornaments, and clothing materials. Of course, you understand how these things came about. Okay, I guess this is a point at which we'd like to say thanks to you for listening in on the program Real Estate Today this Monday morning. In case you have a question for me or queries about sponsorship particularly, you can send me a text message on 0805 699 8676. Text messages only, please. Or you can send me an email, olatunbosun@splashfm1055.com. And you can follow me on Twitter @MikeTunbosun. My name is Michael Olatunbosun. I have worked with Desmond Adegboyega Popola today. Thank you, and I ask you to enjoy the rest of the day.
We educate. That's why we are respected.